All right, guys. Well, this old girl needs a new pair of shoes. This is my 1970 Pontiac LeMans, and we are exactly 1 week away from Pontiac Nationals. This is going to be our drag race car for this year because my 1968 Pontiac LeMans over there is a pile of junk. Everything's broken. It's all bad. We'll deal with that after Nationals. So this guy's getting pressed into race car duty. It is my daily driver. It's a little warmed up, but she's pretty good. But what we're trying to do here is, you can see that it has riddlers on the front and it has snowflakes on the rear. Plan is we're going to pull these riddlers off. We're going to put a new set of snowflakes on the front, so front and back match for my cruising. We're also going to go to a slightly skinnier tire. This is a 245 front. We're going to go to a 215 front, which will give me a little bit less rolling resistance, but still a good, decent tire that's going to be on there. Should fit okay on the the wheels I'm going to put them on. And then we're going to take those riddlers and set a set of Mickey Thompson 2810.5 soft wall drag slicks on them. And that's what we're going to go down the track with. That's the plan. Uncle Bob McVeigh of Old Man's Garage and Street Racing Channel will be the guy piloting this guy for our Pontiac Nationals this year, which should be a lot of fun. We need to get this car done, ready to rock and roll, so I can get it up to Bob and he can get some practice in, you know, maybe cruise it around the streets a little bit and get used to the car, because he's never even seen the car, much less driven it, much less raced it. So today we're going to get wheels and tires swapped out, get that stuff done, probably get a pair of shocks on this thing if we get a chance to be able to get that done, because I got a brand new set of KYBs that we're going to put on it, because these guys are old as sin. That's what we're doing. Today we're actually getting real work done. I believe Rich is actually already in here working. Tagged him in to be able to help me out getting things done. I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but I've been kind of busy with some other things going on. Let's see here. Yeah. There you go. They look pretty good. They're a little stretched, but not bad. Not bad. Have you used air cannon to get them on? I'll be honest, I am kind of surprised at how good the snowflakes do look on that LeMans. But this will give me a slightly bit smaller rolling resistance in the front. I'm not going to run a front runner on this car. I'm not drag racing this car all the time. So it's going to be a street car with enough tire to be able to drive on the street, but as little tire as possible in the front. Should still look right. So I've got my Mickey Thompsons here, 2810.5s, which we're going to run tubeless, FYI. We'll see how that doesn't hopefully backfire in my face. We'll see. Let's get to work. For anybody curious, these are 15 by 8 snowflakes from year 1. Could have gone with the ones that have the gold trim on them, but I kind of like the way the silvers look, especially with the car being kind of yellowish, goldish. I think the silver is a better call. And there's our brand new Cooper Cobras radial GTs. I think these are about 120 bucks or so a tire, something like that. Thanks, Dave, for ordering them. Make sure we mention Dave. We wouldn't be able to do what we do if it wasn't for Dave. Other than when I'm doing Dave's job, because he's gallivanting around in East Tennessee. Huge cake. I would help, but I'm holding the camera. How did?
Not standing with my core right. How'd Rich get hurt? Putting a tire on.
How did Rich bust his skull open? Knocked himself over with an air cannon? What was the first one? Was like 2 1/4?
2.
2? 1 1/4? Not bad at all.
Not at all.
Four sticker off, you get one.
Yeah. Quarter-ounce sticker. And through the magic of cinema, ta-da! New wheels and tires are on. These are my new snowflakes with my new 15s. These are two 15s in the front, slightly taller sidewall, skinnier tire. 275s in the rears. These are still the same ones that I've been running. So we're going down from a 245 to a 215 in the front, which should give me a smaller contact patch, so should decrease my rolling resistance, and it still looks real good. The look is still solid. I like it. It's going to definitely be staggered with that 275, 215. Next thing we got to do, I've got some KYB gas adjust shocks. No, that does not mean these are adjustable. That just means they adjust themselves. So this is obviously the front guy here. 2 bolts on the bottom and a nut on the top. And you got your the bushings and your pieces here. So no big deal. Should be reasonably simple, at least on this side. It's actually inside the control arm here. Right there, which shouldn't be a big deal. However, on the passenger side, this is a little more complicated because it's in there. Right down in here. Unfortunately, this car hasn't been. It's right down there. Could you see it? Right there. No? Can't see it? Didn't think so. One thing about these old iron machines and working on them is you typically speaking want to let them rest for a long time if you're going to be working anywhere near the engine block. Cast iron heads, cast iron block, they retain heat for a long time, especially when you're in the summer. Miserable to work on under the hood. But this should be a reasonably easy in and out surgery, and that gets that done. The rears do have helper springs on the rear shocks. I'm just going to a rear shock in the rear. And I'm not going to put anything in the rear springs. And we're going to see how that works out. The slicks are done. They're on my old set of Riddlers. Man, I tell you what though. That car looks good with those snowflakes. Better than I thought it would, but I like it. And there's your Mickey Thompsons on my old set of Riddlers. And by old, I mean I drove them barely at all. But 2810.5s, we're going to be running these tubeless, as I said, about 15 PSI at this point in time, and we'll figure that out when we get to the track. I also do have a UMI bump steer kit, which replaces the outer tie rod ends, which I'm going to get on as well, so we can get this thing running properly when it's at full extension, and we've got a good quality steering setup on this thing. So, let's get underneath and start working. Only have to be at the track in 3 days. Alright, so, we need some light here. Outer tie rod end. I did not get sleeves, but hopefully these sleeves will disconnect. Take this castle nut off the top here and we can put our new bump steer kit on. This does have the factory front sway bar, which is a little tiny guy. I don't think it's going to really bother me. The back of this car does not have boxed rear control arms because it is not a GTO, and it also does not have a rear sway bar. So we're going to run this thing sans sway bar. But you can see here the helper springs on the shocks. I don't know how old these things are, but I'm sure they're mildly ancient. So we just got to zip these guys off from the top and the bottom. Get those things replaced, no big deal. Make sure my springs are sitting in my pockets, because I have noticed that has been a problem lately. You can't really see what I'm talking about. Springs. That's annoying. White balance ruins my background. So anyway, make sure my springs are sitting in the pockets, as in they are right now. So I'm going to hit these things with some penetrating Earl, and we're going to see if we can get these guys to come loose and get her done. Angry Farmer. Yes, I bought it because the packaging is excellent. Marketing got me. Not super exciting how to show you this, but there you go. Shock's loose. Shock's loose, just 2 bolts. Go right through there, and then the MJ hooks that are hopefully still good enough for me to run another bolt back in. I was talking with Rich, and we may actually just leave the bump steer kit for later. Leave it as it is. This thing's not getting that rowdy. Let's move to the back. Need a little bit longer extension. Come on, boy. You know, it's kind of amazing that like every bolt on this car has moved. For as rough as this car looks, it's really not.
It's actually a pretty solid car.
It's really not that bad. There we go. There we go. Ta-da! Now I should be able to get to that bolt a little easier. Well, this is frustrating. Some idiot put this big exhaust pipe in my way. And with these helper springs, I literally cannot get a socket on that. I've tried it with a wobble. I tried it with a normal standard, neither of them get there. And there is a non-trapped nut that's on the top of this thing that I need to hold on to while I also turn this. So I need to get this exhaust pipe out of my way. Otherwise I can't get this shock off. So I am going to take her loose from here and try to leave this one alone and see whether or not this gives me enough room to be able to kind of move it enough out of my way to be able to get to that nut or that bolt, or that nut and that bolt. Oh, working on cars, it's fun. All right, those 2 are loose. We having fun yet? Yeah, we're having fun. We're hot, greasy, sweaty, drinking water, work on the car. What more could you ask for? America. Okay. Put it off. Exhaust is off the hanger. Does that give me enough room? Oh, that might have got me there. That might have got me there. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see if we can get it. That's still a pain in the neck, man. I tell you what, these helpers are not helping. What a pain. I really don't want to take the whole exhaust off this car. Missed it by that much. Can't get the socket between the edge of the helper spring, or the, right there. You can see that. Doesn't fit! Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. Plan whatever you gotta do to get it done. Alright. I really don't want to take it loose from over here. Let me think about this. Okay. The gloss is loose. Can I get this thing enough out of the way to get a socket up there? We're still having fun. Could definitely use a really strong water right about now. Come on, get up there. Oh, come on. There we go. Don't you dare strip. Winning! Alright. I gotta find that nut. Oh, God. You know, this was gonna be a quick little job. I'm just gonna put some shocks on this thing and Bob's your uncle. Isn't that how it goes, though? Yeah, no big deal. Just gonna put shocks on it real quick. I did have dinner plans. Honey, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna make it to dinner. I'm still in the garage working on my old classic car. I'm getting older and more classic by the day. Got it. That was not fun. All right. Well, this thing should come out. There we go. Ta-da! Shock with helper spring. Out. Removed. I don't know how old these are. I don't know how long they've been on there. Whew. All right. One done. Now I gotta get the other side out. Still having fun. Oh, come on. Man, I tell you what. Some days still having fun. No, that one always comes loose. How do I get to that one? Alright, well that's at least loose. I guess I could take the front. No, that doesn't do any good. I gotta loosen it at the muffler. Sometimes the proper tool is two tools. Sometimes the proper tool is hit it with a damn hammer. Buddy. Now she moves. This requires a proper amount of persuasion. Yes, sir. Winning. You never give up. You'll never lose. Remember that, kids. Famous man on YouTube once said that. Not famous, but man on YouTube. All right. Put my nuts back on my U-bolts. Let's see if we can get this last sucker off of here. Get this piece off. Get this piece off! You see how that sits there? Collar of that helper is right in front of the head of that freaking bolt. And it will not move any further off. Also really don't want to round off the head of that bolt or the nut on the other side. There's a possibility some a-hole put a different size bolt in this hole. So let's see if that fixes the problem. Remember a larger socket? Nope. Oh, this is stupid. Oh, come on! I literally can't get this thing more out of the way. That's it. Come on. Let's get this stupid bolt out of here so we can get this job done and go home. Come on. Well, we'll get back to this when/if I get this off. You probably missed my moment of triumph, because I'm not just going to sit here and film for 45 minutes while I beat on this stupid thing. But I'm one bolt away from putting this car back together. Isn't that always the story? Honey, I'll be home eventually. Ah. Ah. Alright. Alright, well at least it's loose. Took a short well and a wobble extension and we got there. So I gotta get my wrench on the top, which is way easier said than done. Don't give up. Just don't give up. Arms are exhausted, shoulders are exhausted. I got almost nothing left in the tank. Nut. Shock. Bolt. Yay. I win. Now we gotta just put it back together again. Okay, shock. KYB got the adjust. I got a bag of hardware here, which has got our through bolt for the eyelet. Locking nut. Ooh, so in 2 nuts, 2 lock washers, and a washer. So it means we got to reuse our hardware for the top of this thing. Nope. Gotta get new hardware. Off to the bolt bin. Rich, I have for 4 bolts, 4 nuts. Not reusing that old stuff. Alright, let's get this thing in here. It's very dark outside. I very much should be home by now. On my couch with my woman and my puppy dog. But I'm not. Alright, nut, you're gonna sit right there. Almost made a problem. Nut I grabbed from the same bolt bin. Nut I need. Check your nuts. Check your bolts. Check your nuts. I'm getting tired mixing up my Franks and beans. Try that again. Take 2. Because these eyelets are open, I'm going to slide it on one side and then route it up through the other one. Yeah, eyelets are the same. Just making sure, or I was gonna be yelling at Uncle Terry. Alright, let's try this again. Whew. That was not enjoyable. I did not enjoy that. But should be considerably easier to put these on without those helper springs on there. So much easier. Ta-da! Great. Perfect. I love it. Now we just got to get this guy over here, cut that strap, and get her mounted. And then put our exhaust back together. Oh, and do the other side. Anyways, you understand how this works, right? put it back together again. No big deal. I'll be back with you guys in a little bit. Need a short beverage break. Whew. This is a little trickier also, because I can't work on my stuff during the daylight hours or the business hours. So, you know, I work all day and then I clock in at night. It's 10 o'clock. So I clock in at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, start getting to work on my own stuff. All right, folks. Got our shock mounted there, 2 up top. Whatever, you understand. You get it, you understand. They're up there somewhere. 2 up top, 1 on the bottom. That's good to go. Exhaust is hung back up. Good to go. I have cycled the shocks up and down using the rack. Nice thing is I can do that. You can't, so sorry about your luck. I do need to make sure my exhaust tips are even, because I'm vain like that. Pretty good. Pretty good. I like it. Well, that gets us done with the rears. I don't know if these shocks are bad or not. I honestly have no idea. They're old as dirt. I don't know how long they've been on there. But given we're going racing, I'd rather be confident in what's on there, especially since it's not me that's going to be racing. It's going to be Uncle Bob McVeigh, and nobody wants anything to happen to Uncle Bob, least of all me. I'd probably get strung up by my toenails if something happened to Uncle Bob, so we're going to do our best to make sure that that's not the case. I need to get the fronts on, which means I need to take the top nuts off on both sides, drop the shocks out, shove the new shocks up, and then get those things mounted, which is not a huge deal. And then I know I want to do, I think we're going to leave the bump steer alone. I know I want to bleed the brakes again. I think I'm going to end up swapping out the master brake booster because we never did that. Or I'm going to swap out, sorry, I'm tired. I'm going to swap out the brake booster and master cylinder because we used an old one to try to see if that fixed our issue. It didn't. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the new Jegs ones that I have. I have a master cylinder and brake booster here, so I'm going to swap those 2 out. That won't be this video. And then we'll bleed those brakes. That'll probably be over on the main channel, to be honest. We'll bleed the brakes and see exactly where we are. And if we're happy with it, we're happy with it. And then we can go deliver this thing. So let me get these front shocks out. Yeah, front shocks in and we're done. Close. We're close. Man, I was not expecting those things to be that hard to get out of there. Those are a bear. Those are a bear. So, we got the 2 bottom nuts already loose. Or the bolts out, excuse me. All we have on the top is just 1 nut. And it occurs to me it's probably easier to pull this nut off with the bottom still attached. But we've already done it, so we're going to sleep in the bed we made, as the saying goes. Right there is our... Can I get it on camera? There you go. Bob's your uncle. Zip that off. Ta-da! The other side's a lot more annoying because it's harder to get to, but you get the idea. I think I'm going to get a power tool for this one and hit that sucker. We're just going to twist her off. OFT off. Yeah, I feel like that's just turning the whole shock. We're going to hit that with a power tool. Sometimes you get a little excited, get a little ahead of yourself. Make the job harder. Yeah, that's just spinning the whole shock. Okay, back up in the air. Let's do it again. Good enough. Run one up on the other side. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Okay, try that again. Okay. Well, that's a bummer. That means the shaft is spinning with the nut. Set rep. Both sides are spinning, which is probably why both front shocks are old as sin. There's definitely no easy way to grab onto this one, and that side would be a pain in the neck. I need to think about this. It's 11 o'clock at night, and I'm pretty brain fried, so I'm going to call it quits for tonight. I'm going to come back here in the morning with a reasonably clear head and a possible plan of attack. Or I'm going to sucker Rich into doing this, which is possible because I do need to see my dad in the morning at the hospital before I get back in here. So, pause for station identification. But the front shocks are back on. At least with one bolt. I don't really need it to go anywhere, but at least it's drivable, so they can pull it off the rack if they need to. Yeah. Sometimes you just walk away from it. It's been a frustrating enough night. I didn't really need that. All I really need to do is those two nuts to come loose, those shocks drop out, shove the other ones in there, boom, boom, two bolts, nut down. Life is good, but best laid plans, I guess. Anyway, I need to clean up because I am disgusting. See, look, I do work for a living sometimes. And I'm going to go get some sleep, take a shower, eat something. We'll get back to this in the morning. You guys don't get to watch the food in the shower part. It's not that kind of show. All right, well, back to work. This is the missing piece of the puzzle. This is a part number AI 37. And this little piece of doohickey is designed to sit on the shaft of the shock, so you can spin the shaft of the shock, hold the nut, and it works itself off that way. So that should get us where we need to be. The only tricky part is I now have to figure out how to get a wrench on this thing and hold that nut. This side, driver's side, might not be terrible. Passenger side's gonna suck. But I need to try to get a wrench in there, hold on to that, and then I am going to use a little electric dac to back that thing out and get that off. And then pull the shock out, put it back together, no big deal. We're almost done. Whew. By the way, Dad, I'm glad that you're doing well today. We made the transition out of the rehab hospital into more of a long-term rehab today, so that's what I've been doing with my morning. Glad to see he's at least on the mend today. So things are doing well today, and I'm happy to see that. So Dad, I'm glad you're doing well. Sorry I'm not there. I got to be doing some work. Got race car stuff to do. So let's get this thing done, shall we? Kick this thing on up the driveway. Just rounding that nut off. Oh, come on. Well, things escalated. So wheels off again. Hopefully we can get this a turn. Gonna tag in the maestro on this one, see if he can get this so that I don't make ourselves a gigantic nightmare. I do not pretend to be nearly as proficient in this kind of stuff as Rich does, and he does this a lot more often than I do. So we're gonna see if he can get this to work, because what I do not want to do is round off that nut and then end up with a shock that's stuck in this car and I can't get it out. Yeah, we don't want to deal with that. So let's see if Rich can do this, which of course he can. I have a feeling this is more like breaking it off
That's exactly what it is.
versus removing it.
Usually you can get it to come up like a thread or two. It helps it break, but this one's being stubborn.
This is it's off.
Yeah, it's coming off once. The problem is I'm trying not to break my air ratchet because I've done that before doing this.
Oh,
And that's much less.
let's not do that.
Much less productive than.
I guess that works. How wasted is that?
Hey, it's a Monroe. It's under lifetime warranty.
Not after you break the nose of it off.
Take it back. It's under warranty. It's dead. It's leaking.
Thanks too bad.
Yeah, go get a new tire.
Let's clean it up, take it in.
That's right.
Yeah, I'd say she's a little spent hoss. See the nose there getting destroyed. Nut just would not do anything. Sometimes Bluto is the right way to do it. That's the way it's supposed to be. Alright, shove these guys back up in there. They do not come with new hardware, so I do need to reuse my bolts that came off of it. And then bushing and washer, nut, and we're done. We're done. Move on. I still got to bleed the brakes on this thing. I still got to replace the master cylinder and the brake booster. That's going to not be on the video from this. That'll probably be over on the main Lucor channel, because we got a bunch of other brake stuff that's going on that. So you'll see that over there. But let's wrap this thing up so we can get this thing done. Oh man, what experience. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. Just keep working. And if you need to tag in a friend, tag in a friend. It happens. Uh-oh, missing the J-hook. Okay. So these are not threaded, FYI. They have J-hooks on them. So there's a nut, a captured nut on the other side of this. and you run your bolt up through there. This one's obviously missing, so you can grab another one. Fortunately, we have some. Ta-da! Okay. Lower shock bolts are in. Both shocks are in. Get up on top, put our last bushings and pieces on, run our nuts down. We're done. Simple as that. Bushing, washer. Nut. We are going to be swapping out from these closed capped acorns over to an open. That way you can see thread engagement on it, and it will match the rears. Now the front disc brake conversion came with its own studs. We did end up doing longer studs on the rear of this car to get better engagement. They're ½ inch longer. I honestly may end up doing ½ inch longer studs in these front rotors just to be able to give it a bit more engagement as well, and it should come up flush with the stud, or with the back of the nut. I don't think that's going to be a problem at Pontiac Nationals. I hope it's not going to be. Should be plenty to keep the front wheels on the car, but something to keep in mind with these year one wheels. If you're doing the disc brake conversion that we did, you may want to end up doing longer lug nuts or lug studs in order to get better lug nut engagement. But I think we'll be okay. And start them by hand. Torque stick. Check, check, and double check. Good to go. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up there. New shocks on the rear, KYBs. New shocks on the front, KYBs. Fronts were definitely wasted. We got rid of the helper springs that were on the rear shocks, and we are all back in one piece. So I'm gonna wrap this here. We've got some more stuff we're gonna deal with that'll be over on the main channel, as far as we're gonna figure out if we need to replace the booster, the master cylinder. I think we're gonna mess with the transmission shift points as well to give it a little bit more legs on the 2-3 shift. So that's gonna be over on the main channel, Luke Automotive. You find it over there. But that's enough for this one. Thank you very much for your patience, for hanging in there with me. I hope you made it this far. If you did, welcome to Automotive Adventures with Austin. It's a little side channel of what we do here at Luke Automotive. That's specifically for my projects and my stupidity. Usually speaking on the evenings and weekends, but today we got a little overtime because I needed to get this done now because I got to get this car to Bob tonight. So there you go. You will see us at Pontiac Nationals. Bob's going up Thursday. I will be there Friday and Saturday. And there will be full coverage, as there always is, over on the Luke Automotive channel of the Pontiac Nationals. So if you're going to be out, hope to see you there. I'll be the short, bearded guy with an America hat on. Can't miss me. See you in the next one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.